Hey guys, it's Scott here and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the upcoming England squad for September. It has just been announced and so we're going to look through it, see if we agree with some of the players that have been chosen, some of the omissions, etc. So if you do have any thoughts, I'm obviously going to want to hear your feedback and I guess opinions on this piece down in the comment section down below. Make sure you thumb it up, subscribe if you're new if you want to see more football-based content. And let's have a little look at this England squad. First up in goal, we've got three keepers as per usual. We've got Jordan Pickford, going to be the number one, like almost certainly. We've got Nick Pope and Sam Johnston. So no place for Aaron Ramsdale in this team or anybody else, obviously. Pickford, I mean, he had a really good time with England in the Euros in taking us to the final. Saving Jorginho's penalty was one of the biggest cheers that I've ever heard for anything in a bar watching a game of football. It was crazy. And he did himself a world of good. Whereas previously for England, he's looked a little bit shaky and it's not been incredible. But he had a good end to the season with Everton and took it into the Euros. So again, fully expecting him to be the number one for England for the next couple of years at this rate. Nick Pope and Sam Johnston. Pope, again, doing good, but just not quite at the level that you would need to compete to potentially move into that number one spot. A couple of seasons ago, yeah, absolutely smashing it. However, as of late, not as much. Sam Johnston made an amazing amount of saves for West Brom previously. Is now still playing in the Championship, so it's good to actually see him still be called up despite that. But I mean, it's all going to come down to Pickford. They'll probably play him for one or two of the three games. Who will they play for the others? It probably doesn't really matter because of how easy the games are. For those of you that may not know what the fixtures are for this September squad, I'll put them on the screen right now. As you can see, I mean, it should basically just be easy games for whoever is playing, regardless of who's in goal or elsewhere on the pitch. So those are our fixtures, those are your keepers. Let's move in to the defence. So we'll quickly run through this. We've got Trent, who has been recalled. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy about him being left out previously. He hadn't had the best season. He wasn't performing that well defensively. Going forward, we know what Trent can do. However, defensively, there were other players that were offering different options to him and being a little bit more solid. And so it made a little bit of sense. However, on his day, he's still incredible. And so it's not surprising at all to see him back in the squad and back in the fold. He is most likely going to be starting. We've got Connor Cody. Again, we're not blessed for an absolute ton of amazing centre-backs for England. However, the same ones seem to get picked all the time, even if others are sort of breaking into the fold and maybe making a push to try and get into that squad. It just doesn't seem to happen for whatever reason. So Connor Cody is there. Reece James, we now know that with James, if we play a back four, he can play right back. If we play a back five, he can play right wing back or right centre back, which is really big for the versatility. Has also played DM a couple of times, so if you're in dire need of somebody else, then nice player to have there. We've got Harry Maguire, one of the first names on the team sheet, right? Simple as that. He is just a bit of a unit, really, for England. Obviously, he's had hit-and-miss seasons with Manchester United since moving to there from Leicester. But for England, he's been relatively solid, had a very good Euros tournament, and again, formed a very nice partnership with the other defenders in that team. Tyrone Mings, I don't really know anybody that rates Tyrone Mings, I'm not going to lie. It surprises me that, like, pretty much it seems that the only reason that he is in the team is because he's, a left-sided, left-footed centre-back, something like that. There's got to be better ones, right? He's a liability, so I don't like Mings being in our squad. I don't feel confident. I mean, in these games, it shouldn't matter. But going into another tournament like the World Cup that's upcoming, I wouldn't want him close to the starting 11. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on whether you also think that Mings is just too risky a pick, really. Luke Shaw's up next. Baller. One of the best left backs in the world for the last, 12 months. He's absolutely smashed it. He was always going to get in. John Stones is in. sort of rekindled his career, really, at Manchester City. It looked like he was potentially on the way out, and then ended up forming this monstrous partnership with Diaz, took it into the Euros, etc. Even though he hasn't started this season, which is a bit odd, interesting decision by Pep, but he's shown that he is the guy, basically, the Man City thought that they were buying when they paid that amount. And yeah, he's come on leaps and bounds and is showing that he should, again, really be partnering with Maguire if we're going to have a back four. Next up, we got Kieran Trippier. Interesting to see that we have got another 4 right backs this time. He loves a right back, Mr. Gareth, doesn't he? And I guess Trippier is mainly in here, not just because he's good, but because he can also play left back. And Luke Shaw is the only left back that we have outside of this Trippier moving across to the left-hand side. And so it feels like he is more included in the squad this time because Trent is back in as a left back rather than a right back. And then the final one, we got Kyle Walker. I don't really like Kyle Walker. I've never been a fan of Walker. I don't know what it is. I just feel like he is, again, a little bit of a liability. He makes up for his defensive mistakes a lot of the time with his pace, but the problem is he shouldn't be making the mistakes in the first place that he has to make up for them by sprinting back at lightning speed. So ideally, I personally wouldn't play Walker, but hey, there are some games where it does make a little bit more sense because you know that a winger is going to cause your right back trouble the entire time. You might as well have one that is rapid, right? Whereas if someone like Trent, he's not super slow, but if he gets beaten by someone like Mbappe, he's gone. He's gone, that's it, it's done. Whereas Walker would be able to get back and potentially block a cross or something like that. So it always makes sense to have Kyle Walker in the squad. He also is a winner, playing with Manchester City, winning a ton of trophies and everything like that. It just instills a nice sort of atmosphere within the squad that you have players that are winning trophies and titles and everything like that. So there's our defence. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now we'll move to midfield. So here we have Jude Bellingham, the youngster from Dortmund, is back in contention. We've got Jordan Henderson now fully ready and back. It was obviously risky in the Euros after he was coming off the back of a decent length injury. Now he's ready to go. Jesse Lingard is in there, which again, after his second half of the season with West Ham, he performed very, very well. Didn't get in the squad for the Euros, yet is now in this squad. So an interesting call-up to see, I guess, whether he has a future in the England team or not. We have Mason Mount, who is in there again. He had a great season last year. Fantastic for Chelsea. Great for England as well. Turned my opinion round of him. I thought that he wasn't incredible, but as I watched more and more of him, he looked like he grew throughout the season to become an even better player. And yeah, he's been fantastic. So fair play to him. Calvin Phillips, I think he's been good. When he's had opportunities for England, I don't think that he's really done anything wrong. I don't think that he's given us any reasons to be frustrated that he's in the squad. I think that he has done well for himself. And so fair play for him being in the squad again. And then the last midfielder is going to be Declan Rice this time. Yet again, Rice, solid player, done very well for West Ham, absolutely dominated us the other day, Leicester. We got destroyed by him. So yeah, Rice always going to be in the squad unless he's injured. He is going to be one of those guys that is always in that defensive mid position. He is going to be the destroyer in that team. I guess your omission, really, you got Phil Foden, who would normally be in there, but he is obviously injured right now, so he cannot feature. He maybe would have been in ahead of Lingard, would be my guess, if he was fit. But let me know your thoughts on the midfield. Is there anyone that you would have taken that has not been? Anyone that you would omit from the people that are going? Let me know. And now, let's move on to the forwards. First things first, Patrick Bamford is in the England squad. Had a fantastic season with Leeds, their first season back in the Premier League. A lot of people had questions. They knew that he could do it in the Championship, but he struggled before. Could he do it with Leeds in the Premier League? Yes, he could. He was absolutely fantastic, scored a ton of goals for them, and this feels very, very well deserved. Patrick Bamford in the squad. Good to see it. A slightly different type of player as well. Also a left footer compared to the strikers that we normally take as well is nice. Dominic Calvert-Lewin also had a very good season for Everton. Did drift off a little bit towards the end of the year, not scoring as many goals, but has started the season already scoring for Everton this year, and again, just another solid striker for England. We've got some decent options. Jack Grealish is up next, most likely going to be playing wide left if he's playing for England, as he did before. Just a baller, obviously got his £100 million transfer to Manchester City, and has already shown glimpses of what he can bring to that squad for them. Next up, we got Harry Kane. Obviously, I don't even really need to say anything about this. Although, I don't think I've done a video since. He has fully confirmed, and it is done. He is staying at Spurs. He's not going to City, so he will not be linking up with Grealish. Interesting to see how that transpires in the future. Is he going to move January? Is he going to move next summer? Or have any and all teams, like Man City, that were interested in him, that's it. He missed the boat, and now they'll go and sign Haaland or someone like that. I don't know, but Kane always going to be in the squad. Bukayo Saka, absolute baller. Also a very versatile player. If we have an absolute nightmare with injuries or anything like that, he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play left back if need be, and he's actually done quite well there at times for Arsenal. So, very nice player to have in the squad. Youngster with heaps of talent. And then two more wingers. We've got Jadon Sancho, obviously now Manchester United player. Not really been fit enough to play more than I think it's 30 minutes he got in the second game. But here's hoping that he's going to sort of kick on, go into this international break with a little bit more fitness and start these games and ball out and then bring it back to the Premier League for Man U. And then we've got Raheem Sterling, who there were so many question marks over him going into the Euros. But then he ended up being one of our better players in terms of what he did for the team. In terms of his actual performances, some of them weren't even great. However, he got like the winning goal or the assist or something like that. He did it when it mattered, and that was the key thing. So no real surprise to see Raheem back in the squad. Notable omission from this is Mason Greenwood, obviously coming up and looking like a really, really strong player for Man United. Again, can play pretty much anywhere across the front. Does prefer the right-hand side and through the middle, which, again, we could do with having more of that. I mean, looking at this list right now, Grealish prefers the left-hand side. Bamford, Calvert-Lewin, Kane are through the middle. Sterling plays on the left-hand side. Sancho's your right-sided player, right? Saka has done a bit of both, right? But I guess maybe plays more on the right side now, but maybe not this season because Pepe is going to be playing more games. I don't know. So Greenwood, a notable omission right there, and obviously Phil Foden with his injuries. But let me know. We're also missing out Ben Chilwell at left back, who actually hasn't been playing for Chelsea. Marcus Alonso has been getting the game time for them. Do you think that he should have been in the squad? And if you do have suggestions for players that you think should be in the squad, who would you get rid of to put them in? Now, the upcoming England games aren't that exciting. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, we're going to do pre-match analysis of this fixture and that. No, it's not really necessary. But I'm still excited to see England play. I feel like the sort of nationwide love for the team has grown so much thanks to the Euros that people are going to be more excited and interested in these lesser games. Yes, they're still World Cup qualifiers, but people don't really care. When it's against Hungary, Andorra and Poland, Poland have Lewandowski, but outside of that, they're not really thrilling fixtures, are they? But I will be watching them, and I will be waiting with bated breath to see how some of these players perform, especially if we do get to see people like Bamford get their opportunity. So let me know your thoughts on all of this. There will be another video later today because it is the Champions League draw today. Massive, massive day for that competition. So we'll do a video talking about that once it is done. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Thumb it up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.